I'm going to be making a vegan dish, but first I want to put out a disclaimer that I'm not a professional chef, so my recipe is a little flawed, but all it takes is a little practice. I'm going to be making vegan cashew cheese taquitos, and it is inspired by my grandmother's cooking. My grandmother's cooking is a big part of my life, so I wanted to honor her today with that recipe. So here are some of the raw ingredients that I am using. And I wanted to point out that I am not going to be using meat, I'm going to be using tofu because the chicken industry actually has a lot of problems. This study is just one of the many that demonstrates how the poultry industry and their feed production, litter, and energy use were the most significant contributors to the environmental impacts that we see today. So if you're going to eat meat, just keep in mind that the process to make that is quite damaging to our environment. So that is why I'm going to be using tofu today instead of chicken, which is normally used in taquitos and basically every Mexican dish. And when I'm cooking, I always make sure to check this website Foodprint if I'm going to buy ingredients. And I want to make sure that I'm buying ingredients that are healthy for our planet. So this website Foodprint is a great way to research any ingredients that you're interested in, and it'll tell you the benefits and negatives of any ingredient. Probably the coolest store that I've ever visited was Ethically, which is a package-free grocery store in Long Beach, and it's the first one founded in Long Beach. This store is unique because you can bring your own containers, jars to fill up the amount of product that you need, and you'll only be charged the amount that you put in your container, which is a great way to also save money. But also, the store sources their ingredients from local industries and businesses, so it reduces that waste that comes with traveling. And also, another great way is simply farmer market. I know that Long Beach has one every Tuesday on the Friendship Walk, so that is also a great way to get your food locally. So here I am soaking my cashews in warm water, and I'm going to leave it there for about 10 minutes. And the reason why I'm doing this is actually to make the cashews more creamier and soft, so that way when I blend it eventually later on in the recipe, it'll give it that creamy texture that kind of resembles dairy products. And the reason why I'm using cashews and not dairy is because dairy factories have impacts such as global warming, acidification, and eutrophication potentials, and land occupation. So just think about the amount of land that cows need to graze, and then the amount of land needed for farmers to grow crops that will eventually be used for feed later on for cows. So it is a long, tedious process that many people do not think about when they try to buy meat. So in that previous video, I was preparing my pan with olive oil and putting it at a low heat so that I can saute my veggies. And here I am chopping onions and garlic, and that is what I will be sauteing. And it'll eventually be blended into my mixture. So they should be brown like this before putting them in the blender. So here I'm putting in a little bit of lime juice, non-dairy milk, olive oil, and in the blender I already have half a block of tofu, which will give it that thicker consistency. And then I put garlic powder and salt, and then I put a little bit of the cashew water to offset that tofu thickness, and then eventually I put in the cashews. And perhaps the most important ingredient is the nutritional yeast. And this nutritional yeast, like I said, I brought my own little mason jar and I took it to Ethically and I refilled it there. So that is just a prime example of how to get your ingredients without having waste. And so this is what it should look like in the end. It should have like a little bit of a thickness. So here I have a little pouch that warms up my tortillas and makes them soft. And I want to make them soft because I don't want them to crack when I roll them up. And so here I'm putting a little bit of the mixture in there, and I don't want to put too much. And then I rolled it into the taquito shape. But here I realized I grabbed the wrong tortillas because it's really thick. But as long as you're grabbing thin corn tortillas from the market, you'll have that thin taquito. And here's a video of me cutting up the cilantro to garnish my dish at the end. And like I said, I'm not a professional, so my cutting technique is not the best. And in the corner, I have the vegan feta cheese alternative from Trader Joe's. And the reason why I grabbed feta is because it has the same taste as cotija cheese, which is a famous cheese in Mexico, and it's popularly used as a garnish. And so I do not have a video of me cutting it up, but it is a great cheese to use. Although I don't have a video of me frying my taquitos, while I'm cutting the garnishes, I'm frying them and I'm flipping them every 2 minutes until they turn a little bit golden for that crispy crunch, and the inside is supposed to be a little bit soft, cheesy flavor thanks to the nutritional yeast. So this is what they look like at the end, and like I said, I'm not a professional chef, but I think the most important thing is just to experiment. So thank you for watching my capstone video.